That's a perfect segue to Matthieu Ricard, who for 40 years now has been studying in the Himalayan regions, a Buddhist monk, a photographer, but also a scientist who got his PhD at the Pasteur Institute, and a man who is equally at home in the mountains of the Himalayan regions as he is where I last saw him at the World Economic Forum in Davos. So, Matthieu.
Yes. So I think many years he really spent for the serious practice. I think experience, out of practice is concerned, I think he more experienced than me. I think really very good monk, very good monk.
So yes, you mentioned about being French. I think this is an incurable disease. So, this morning, Your Holiness, our friend Lord Layard mentioned that the underestimated importance of mental illness. He mentioned the number 40% of incapacitation. That means the number of days and months and years that you cannot work, that you cannot function in life. Not the number of death, but how many you're just unable to function. And 40% of all days of life that we are not able to function is related to mental illness. By mental illness, it means things like depression, about 8%. Then there's other mental disorders, like phobias, anxiety, post-traumatic disorder, and even more serious, like schizophrenia, altogether about 12%. And then there is different kinds of addiction, which also come from mental problems.
That's right.
8% of disabilitation come from alcoholism, and 2% from drug use. So now compared to that, if you look at cancer, it's only 2%. Of course, the number of deaths is much greater due to cancer than to mental disease, but either you cure or you die, but the fact that you are not incapacitated usually for many, many years. And heart disease is only also 5%. So that means that a great part of what the negative influence on the quality of life is due to mental disease. So of course, some of them are due to basic defect in our brain, like Alzheimer when we get old, it's a decay of the brain, or some form of schizophrenia and so forth. But a lot has to do with the workings of mind, unhealthy minds. Like depression, of course, is a complex phenomenon, and some has to do also with the chemicals of the brain, but there's a lot has to do with the way we deal with the world. We ruminate all the time the past. We are full of hopes and expectations and fears, and we are centered on us, what's going to happen, and we lose the meaning of life. We lose the faculty to express and feel love. All those are mental problems. Craving that leads to different forms of addiction when they become more serious, it begins with the mind that has lost its balance. If we find something pleasant, and then we want it, and again, and again. And neuroscientists will tell you that you start building something in the brain that is just about wanting. It's different than what gives you pleasure. So at the end, you don't enjoy anymore, but you want it, so you are addicted. That's built up by the mind. So just as it was built by the mind, a healthy mind can also find remedy. We know that mindfulness-based cognitive therapy, the mixture of Aaron Beck, whom you know, methods with meditation, is one of the most efficient ways to prevent relapse from depression, up to 30 to 40%. For people who have 3 to 4 or 2 to 3 episodes, it's as efficient as medication. So that's again working with healthy minds. But we vastly underestimate the power of transformation of the mind. This is granted, this is how I am. And we spend most of our hopes and fears about remedying the outer condition. If I had all that, I will be happy. If I don't have that, I can't be happy. So things like that. Of course, we need to improve outer conditions in this world, especially where those outer conditions are terrible, where there is no peace, when there is no food, where there is no health. But still, that doesn't mean that we should not take care of a healthy mind. That's what Richie and many others are doing. So an healthy mind is obviously a need, because our mind is what we are dealing with from morning till evening. It can be our best friend, but it can be also our worst enemy, whether we like it or not. So the way our mind works is going to color all our world, the world we experience. So then there's all these approaches that has been developed in the Buddhist science, contemplative science, by many traditions, how to make a mind that is more free from the running of this destructive emotion of craving, hatred, jealousy, pride, mental confusion, and how to enhance as skills the factors that will make a healthy mind that is conducive to well-being. So loving kindness, compassion, inner freedom from those wandering thoughts, inner confidence, inner strength, and above all, altruistic love and compassion, which is known to be what gives the most fulfillment for you and also obviously for others. So then the healthy mind is also intimately linked with this kind of care, benevolence, altruism, love, compassion. Because me from morning till evening is a very miserable condition for you, and also you make the life of everyone miserable. It's a lose-lose situation. Everyone is losing. Compassion, of course, it's the most sort of fulfilling state of mind, and of course, obviously, you are making to make others happy, so it's a win-win situation. So that can be trained. Now, our collaboration has shown that, but how can we take that to a bigger level for the issue that has been on health, public health? Well, if there's healthy minds of individuals, you will get a healthy society. If everyone collaborates more than competition, if there are less consumerism and find more contentment, if they find that voluntary simplicity is not depriving yourself, it's just having a simpler and happier life. It's not depriving yourself from the good things in life, which would be stupid. It's simply not being constantly tormented by wanting more when you have one you want two, and then it's endless. So how can we bring it to a bigger issue about environment, about global governance? Well, if we see what are the main challenges that we are facing today, they're basically something to do with 3 time scale. The fast economy. Everything goes fast. You know, the stock market goes up and down within 1 week, and nobody knows why. Some people think they know. Very fast. And then they say, oh, if the economy doesn't go well, everything else will not work. So this is reality, and we have to take care. But, of course, there is quality of life. How you feel. How you feel in your family. What is the quality in the workplace, in society. Time of a family, of a duration of a lifetime, flourishing, human flourishing, gross national happiness. I was just a few days ago with Mohammed Yunus, and he says, if we become money-making robots, it's reducing the wonderful qualities of human being to this single dimension. So that's not worth, living in society. And as Gandhi said also, there'll always be enough for everyone's need, but not for everyone's greed, which is limitless. So we need to take care of the second time scale dimension, which is longer, like 50 years, 100 years. And then there's a longer one, which is environment. Like now it's becoming shorter because of the urgency, but before it used to be 10,000 years, 1 million years, so longer period. So it's normal that economists cannot think in terms of 100 years, because in their accounts at the end of the year, it doesn't matter. No, there's a famous American comic called Groucho Marx. So I'm a Marxist, but from the Groucho branch. He said, why should I care for future generation? What did they did for me? So of course, the people who are not there cannot do anything for you. So that's what some economists are thinking. This doesn't matter for me. So that is why the only concept that can allow to span those 3 time scales, the economy now, the quality of life, happiness, and the future generation, is consideration for others, altruism. That's the only one. Because then if you have more consideration for others, you are not going to play like at the casino with the resources of other people. If you have more consideration for others, you will make sure that society is an harmonious society, And if you have more consideration for others, you will not enjoy everything knowing that you are degrading the planet. So that's no more altruism, love, care, compassion, something soft, something extra, something that you can have if everything goes well. It is at the heart of solving our problem. And this is based on interdependence and interconnection. Martin Luther King said, we all came on different boats, but now we are on the same ship. So that's obvious. So in a way, in the same way that individualism in a group, in a community, doesn't work well, in the same way, at the level of nations, if we only concentrate on the benefit of single nation, then we cannot solve those big problems. There's no way. This is beyond the scope of nations and individual interests. That's why we need for taking care of something that concerns all of us. We all breathe the same air, more or less, so if it's in danger, we should care. And that comes with generating more altruism. What is wonderful is we know it's part of human nature, and we know we can cultivate it, so we should go for it and do our very best. And I think that's the key to solving those problems cognitively and also as human beings, how we can change. We can change, and we should change to a more caring society.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Thank you so much, Matthieu. You could go on forever as far as I'm concerned. What Matthieu has also said on another occasion is that if we can reach a critical mass of people who are thinking of others, who are operating from their altruistic instincts rather than our purely selfish greed instincts, then there can be a tipping point where a lot of the things we're talking about can appear and be solvable. So, do you see any such critical mass and tipping points in the horizon?
When?
When? We're asking you.
I think at least within this century, if we make constant effort with clear vision through education, I think possibility there. So that's why you see, we are working how to introduce in modern education system the secular ethics as a part of curriculum from kindergarten up to university level. So that's I feel you see, that's the key thing. Altruism, just a few sort of explanation, not sufficient. Systematically, we have to educate people. I usually describe that we are selfish. It's right. But selfish should be wise selfish rather than foolish selfish. Usually our thinking selfish. Just think oneself. Actually, you are losing your friend, losing in many good things. Think more about others' well-being. You get maximum benefit. So that's wise selfish. So that also is not through teaching or blessing, but through education. We have ability to think long-term interest, short-term interest. I think through education we can change like that. So I think very possible. And in any way, whether it's possible or not, certain things at a certain level, certain level or certain period, see something unthinkable. But time changes, and then new reality. Now I think they're thinking more sort of the inner world,
values, no?
inner values. It's the circumstances now create, you see, some sort of more and more number of problems because of the mental problems. So actually, some people say the whole world facing some kind of moral crisis. It is true. So therefore, you see, the circumstance itself now showing us, and environment also, the nature, mother nature, mother planet or mother nature itself, now showing us, you should be taking more serious care about mother planet. Yeah. So the new reality now forces us, we have to think more wider way, more holistic way, more compassionate way. So these entirely depend on awareness, education. So now I feel the problem is how to introduce in existing education field, you see these, ethics.
Ethics law.
Not something, you see, I think all religions, you see, carry same ethics. But that is based on faith. Although the former Pope mentioned, the German Pope mentioned, faith and reason must go together. So really, I think so that
True, no?
really true. But usually, you see, we some extent we use our reasons. Then depend on faith. So then only those people who really have sincere faith, it worked. Ordinary people, I think, difficult. So now through education, you see, showing concern about other well-being is the best way to get your own well-being, including your own physical well-being and family well-being. I think we can. I think there's sufficient sort of material to educate people. That's the only way. That's the only hope, really. So through that way, I think there is possibility. Better world, better world means more compassionate world comes. Then certainly, better world, peaceful world. So this is everybody's sort of responsibility. Now, particularly now scientists. I usually telling the scientist is in the modern time real teacher, real guru. So of course here now full cooperation, a scientist and educationist work together, or in order to carry work. Firstly, from time to time, serious discussion, and particularly like right here now, I think university should take, you see,
Take initiative.
more sort of discussions. Then, at least the present generation, the student in the university, you see, get some new ideas. Then, when their generation become sort of responsible person, then pay more serious
attention.
Thank you so much, Your Holiness. I'm so sorry that we have come to the end of the session, but I think I speak on behalf of everybody that we really want to be part of this critical mass that you and Matthieu have talked about. And for my part, on behalf of the media, I want to do what we can to accelerate the education of everyone. And so I would like to invite everyone who is here to write on the Huffington Post and tell their stories of this journey. And I will make it easy by giving everybody my email address. which is ariana@huffingtonpost.com, and welcome your contributions, because you never know who is going to read it and who is going to be touched and inspired the way we have been touched and inspired by being in your presence here today. Thank you so much.
Your Holiness, before we leave, I would just like to thank a number of people who have made this event possible today, without whom we would never have such an event. I'd like to thank the Executive Director of the Center for Investigating Healthy Minds, who has been just magnificent through all of this, Barb Matheson, Liz Vanderwerth, Leo Dreyfus, Molly Schmidt, Allison Rowe, Susan Jensen, Olivia Thompson-Davies, Jake Moskal.
Yes, and I especially want to thank Jake Moskal, the Assistant Director of the Global Health Institute, and Betsy Teiglin as well.
And Carlene Kleeman and Donna Kelly. And I'd especially like to thank the City of Madison, the University of Wisconsin, the speakers, and also the young scientists and staff at the Center for Investigating Healthy Minds who've made this work possible, and most especially Your Holiness, who has inspired us all. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. I think now last, I think a few decades, you see, this kind of work, you see, we almost I think regularly, you see, carry this work. So all these results come from because of the work, from teamwork. So I really appreciate. So then, it is quite natural, I think, in the past human history, all those great sort of masters, teachers, firstly, one single person. Then their sort of teaching or their explanation is something very realistic and beneficial. So then more and more people showing interest, and that way to sort of spread. So small team, multiply, say 100 people, 1,000 people, 100,000 people, million, 100 million, 1,000 million. That's the only way to change humanity's way of thinking. And the lifestyle will change. Then this century would be really remarkable, sort of I think, compare my century, that's 20th century, compare 20th century, this century really become remarkable. The previous century, century of bloodshed, century of violence. As I mentioned, these brilliant brain, you see, used for destruction. Those nuclear physicists, marvelous brain, but their knowledge becomes sort of disposal of hatred, anger. So I think this century should not be that way. So therefore, then, so our team, you see, we really have sort of so audience, you should not think just, you see, spend few moments here and listen what that person say, what that person say, not that way. Think more seriously, each one. And then share more people. I think here maybe 1,000 people, and share at least 10 people. That means 10,000. And further, each 10,000, 10 person. Then, 100,000, like that. That's the way. That's the way. So we all have this same responsibility and the same potential. You should not think, oh, I'm a single person. The problem is huge. I cannot do much. Should not think that way. The initiative must start from individual. For example, the peace must start from individuals' inner peace. Through that way, a peaceful family, peaceful society. And once we really develop peaceful society, then new leaderships coming from that kind of society, then will be more sensible. The society were full of sort of competition, full of greed, full of sort of distrust, and then leadership also is difficult, isn't it? We can't blame these leaders. We fail to build healthy society. So it is our responsibility. Thank you. Thank you. Please think more seriously. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Please tell people to join our movement.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Thank you.